Every 3 weeks, Sarah has to travel for over 6 hours to receive vital cancer treatment. That's a long trip for a sick little girl. Unless she can fly. Angel Flight is a wonderful Australian charity that flies people in need to specialist medical care. Hundreds of pilots across Australia donate their time, their skill and their planes. And Demizen donates $1 from every bottle of Demizen syrup sold. But we still need more. Providing free Angel flights doesn't come cheap. But then again, our cargo is priceless.
Tonight, fears the recent rain hasn't helped the state of the winter crops. Calls for the Premier to remember the water needs of rural residents. And the rain hasn't put a dampener on the Australian National Field Days.
Win News, late edition.
Good evening. Farmers fear the recent rain may have been too little too late to provide the much-needed moisture boost to crops in the region. However, agricultural officials believe that if more rain is received, some farmers will get a decent yield.
Most farms around the Forbes and Parkes region received about 2 inches of rain over the past 3 weeks. Local agronomists say the downpours were vital, but much more of the precious resource is needed.
They were going to die without the rain, so we really needed that rainfall. It's really kicked a lot of those crops along, and we could, if we get another rainfall, receive some decent yields.
But farmers fear the outlook isn't positive.
We just have never had enough rain. We've always had too little, too late, and the crops have been struggling all the way through.
Farmers say it's not only the big dry that's affecting the crops, with pests and disease also taking their toll.
It seems to be one problem after the next, not only the drought to contend with, we've got the grasshopper plague which is coming, and we've had a large influx of aphids into our canola crops, and then along followed the heliothis into our canolas and also in our field peas and our dryland pasture.
Farmers urged to be on the lookout for locust hatchings.
The locusts have been an issue. They're still very active, so we need farmers to be vigilant on that front.
But with harvest less than a month off, all the farmers can do now is look to the future.
Farmers always live in hope that next year's always going to be better. I think it's just going to be one of those years to try and get by and get behind us and get on with it again.
Rachel Davis, Win News.
A minor mishap for a Dubbo truckie this morning when the rear triaxle of his rig slipped off the road just north of the city. Police were called to control the peak hour traffic while a heavy-duty tow truck arrived to pull the hapless B-double back onto the hard standing. No one was injured in the incidents. A grazier from Young has been charged with animal cruelty for failing to feed 1,500 animals. 67-year-old David Johnston was found guilty of failing to provide sufficient feed to 250 cattle, 400 sheep and 400 goats, and failing to provide drink to 100 head of cattle. Johnston was fined $3,300 with a further $6,500 in costs awarded to the RSPCA. The Carr government has drawn criticism over the release of its metropolitan water strategy. Rural groups say with almost 80% of New South Wales still in drought and levels at storage dams dwindling, the water issue needs to be addressed on a statewide basis.
With levels at Warragamba Dam hitting a record low, the Carr government has come out with a plan to solve the water crisis in Sydney. The proposal to pipe in water from the Shoalhaven River and to tap into water below the current pumping levels at Warragamba.
I would say it's a smart approach to the extra infrastructure we've got to have.
We are vastly better prepared for drought than we would otherwise have been.
The announcement raising questions about the fate of the rest of New South Wales.
We would congratulate him again for looking after the city people. That's his job as Premier. But he has to remember as well there are people across the divide, and they are also part of the lifeblood of this state.
For management of water nationally, we really need to understand how to actually make the most benefit of that water that we've got available.
Mr Byrne says that means minimising accessions to the water table, as well as water wastage through leakages and losses, which lead to another environmental problem, salinity. One irrigator group says the farming industry has been improving its water efficiency and conservation. Its chief executive calling for all water saving and recycling options to be investigated for urban and rural users, with recent figures showing half of the state's drinking water is used on gardens and by industry.
They don't need, I guess, the clean fresh water that falls from the sky. I mean, there's lots of grey water and stormwater recycling programs that could be better used to try and for other uses other than potable drinking water in people's homes.
Madeline Denham, Win News.
Rural Fire Service boss Phil Koperberg has hit back at the newly formed Volunteer Firefighters Association, claiming his members already have a voice. Proponents of the VFFA say the present union is controlled by paid RFS employees who are merely carrying out the dictates of their boss.
The Rural Fire Service hierarchy has slammed the Volunteer Firefighters Association as divisive and unnecessary. Commissioner Phil Koperberg claims he's always happy to discuss issues with volunteers, and his door is always open to any of the 67,000 volunteers to enable issues to be raised. The Shires Association president says that statement doesn't ring true.
Local government has been trying to set up a liaison committee with the Commissioner for some time, coming up against brick walls all the time. He is the only person that I have found very hard to get to.
The Shires Association is set to throw its weight behind the VFFA, calling for a more cooperative approach across the state. Narromine Mayor Bob Barnett says common sense must prevail, citing the bushfire management plan for the Goobang National Park, which came about after volunteers refused to fight fires in the park until their safety concerns were addressed. That ban has now been lifted.
We need an organisation that recognises and listens to the people who fight the fires. I've always had the view that they're the people who know what needs to happen.
However, the Commissioner says volunteers already have a strong voice through the Rural Fire Service Association and are represented in every decision-making committee within the RFS. And he says the service is not prepared to step back into the dark ages to satisfy a small minority of people pursuing their own agenda. John Ryan, Win News.
Regional Express has announced it will again raise its fuel surcharge to offset the record increase in aviation fuel prices. Just 2 months ago, the airline lifted its surcharge to $10 per sector. That will rise another $2 from tomorrow. Rex Managing Director Geoff Bruce says while in an ideal situation, it will not have to introduce or adjust any fuel charge. The regional carrier's fuel costs have jumped 60% in the past year. Black skies only boosted smiles as thousands of visitors poured through the gates for the 53rd annual Australian National Field Days. The latest in farming, fashion and food is on show for the next 3 days.
It mightn't have been the warmest start to the field days for this poor alpaca, but the best way to keep dry at the 2004 Australian National Field Days at Boronor was to don a dryzabone and an akubra. With around 80% of visitors expected at the event either owning or working on a farm, there's plenty to see and do over the next few days to keep everyone happy, with demonstrations of the latest and greatest farming technology, as well as fashion and plenty of food.
It's great to come to these days and see the latest in farming, and it's gone a long way in the last 50 years that I can remember.
Just check out all the new machinery and all the knick-knacks there's about, and virtually have a good time having a look around.
Yeah. Oh, there is, yeah, enjoying it.
With approximately 468 stall holders, organisers are again confident of bumper crowds at the 2004 Field Days. Not even the threat of rain was enough to keep farmers and their families away from day one.
It's easing, and we might get the occasional shower throughout the day, but numbers are good actually. For a Tuesday is usually our slowest of the days, so far we're pretty happy.
Ireland is this year's guest nation exhibitor and is proving to be at the forefront of the agricultural industry.
Today, Ireland is one of the most successful countries in the European Union. In fact, it's the third wealthiest country in the European Union. It's been a massive boom in our economy in the last 15 years, and we produce some of the most sophisticated, leading-edge agricultural products in the world.
The field days continue tomorrow. Sarah McGregor, Win News.
Coming up next on Win News, an initiative to tackle theft from cars and a heated dispute over the location for a new pool in Forbes.
It's all good, mate.
K.D. Lang, her new album, Hymns of the 49th Parallel.
Helpless, helpless, helpless.
A special tribute to her birthplace. With 11 beautiful songs from Canada's finest songwriters.
Hallelujah.
A voice from heaven, K.D. Lang. Hymns of the 49th Parallel, in store now.
Want to get in on the ultimate lifestyle? Keep watching Win Television and you could win the Sultan Ultimate Lifestyle Pack. Valued at over $800, it's filled with fantastic products from Sultan, and there's 8 to be won. Be sure to be watching Backyard Blitz, Bert's Backyard, and You Are What You Eat for your cue to call. And you could have the Sultan Ultimate Lifestyle Pack just in time for summer. Keep watching Australia's premium lifestyle programs on Win Television for your chance to win.
Attention camera owners, get a second set of prints free with every film processed every Wednesday all year. A second set of free prints every Wednesday, every week. Free prints all year round. Free second prints every Wednesday only at Eastmont Camera House.
Don't settle for second best. Get a bigger, better pool at John Quinlan Spas and Pools. A comprehensive range of dry-clad above-ground pools are now available. Fully supplied kits are easy to install. Phone John Quinlan Spas and Pools.
Young Endeavour was awesome. I spent 10 days at sea and made great new friends. When we took command of the ship, that's when I learned so much about myself and being part of a team. If you're 16 to 23, get on board. Apply online at www.youngendeavour.gov.au or phone 1800 020 444.
Forbes residents look set to dive into a new pool, but just where the facility will be is yet to be decided. A recent survey listed 3 possible sites for the centre, but some residents feel the obvious option has been left out.
A 50-metre pool, a 20-metre heated indoor pool, a hydrotherapy facility and even a paddling pool is what the people of Forbes have asked for in a recent survey. Conducted by the Shire Council, the study listed 3 possible sites for the Aquatic Centre, the Golf Club, Johnson Street near the tennis courts and Huey Wilson Oval. Opposition has been strong, with claims the survey left out the option to upgrade the existing facility.
Even though it is in a floodway, and the others are in flood areas too, but even though it is in a floodway, it can be improved and made into a modern, up-to-date 50-metre pool.
The Shire's Mayor saying that option would be a band-aid solution.
The existing site is squarely in the middle of a floodway, and therefore it would be difficult from a planning point of view to build anything other than just patch up the old swimming pool.
It's estimated the development could cost anywhere between $3 and $5 million. The matter will go before Council on Thursday night, but it won't be the final decision.
What is being discussed at Council and the outcome is not really to build. The outcome of the Council decision will be to go ahead and investigate costings and staging of whatever we build. It's not a decision, right, we go and build.
Rachel Davis, Win News.
A project to map underneath the city of Dubbo began today, with the first of 105 bores being drilled in the urban area. The bores will be monitored every 3 months to track the height of the water table and the amount of water flowing into the city aquifer.
This is the first of 105 boreholes for Dubbo. A network will be scattered across the city in a bid to map the quality and movement of groundwater. The objectives being to spot potential salinity hotspots early, as well as monitor the replenishment time for the local aquifer. 30% of Dubbo's water comes from underground aquifers.
At the moment, the recharge rates are assumed, and the long-term capacity of our aquifer is really based on, you know, computer modelling, which may or may not be right. So.
Mr McLeod said the $300,000 cost of the drilling project could easily be wiped out by repairing just one house whose foundations had been affected by salt. The environmental scientist overseeing the project agrees the city can't afford to wait for salinity problems to arise.
Extremely expensive, can affect your buried infrastructure, water pipes, sewer, stormwater, things like that, cables. Can also affect roadways, pavings, and then the foundations of your buildings and any sort of cement or metal structures.
John Ryan, Win News.
The Centennial Coal Company has been named as the inaugural New South Wales Miner of the Year, while Alkane Exploration has taken the title of Explorer of the Year. The awards were presented overnight by Mineral Resources Minister Kerry Hickey at the state's Miners and Explorers Conference in Sydney. Centennial operates several collieries on the Western coalfields, while Alkane is linked to the Peak Hill gold mine, where a feasibility study is being conducted into setting up an underground gold extraction operation. Criminals who specialise in theft from motor vehicles are the targets of the latest crime prevention program from local police. A joint partnership between the Canobolas Local Area Command, Orange City Council and the NRMA, the initiative aims to stop thieves in their tracks.
Orange Police have been praised for their highly successful program Operation Never Again, which offers security advice to residents to help stop break-and-enters at their home. Now phase 2 of the project aims to target thieves who steal from cars.
Our previous focus has been on residential premises, and now we're shifting the focus to motor vehicles because there is quite a high incidence of stealings from those vehicles.
Officers from the Canobolas Area Command are working with the NRMA and the community in a bid to drive down car crime. It's hoped the three-pronged approach will eventually pay dividends.
There's a partnership between the police and council, and it's a partnership to help reduce crime and prevent it rather than trying to solve it.
Well, what we're trying to say to the criminals is that if you steal property from these motor vehicles, the chances are that that property has been engraved. It'll be difficult to get rid of, and therefore there's little point in taking it.
For more information on the program, contact Orange Police. Sarah McGregor, Win News.
Time for sport with Matt Russell and a scare for defending Whitney Cup Premier Souths, Matt.
Geoff pushed all the way by Sims. Also Central West Baseball and a winning double for Orange runners in Forbes.
Nothing's better than a big, delicious low-fat brekkie from Macca's.
Thanks. Salads Plus new real fruit smoothie. It's 98.5% fat-free.
Canon, the leader in print technology, featuring the ultimate in printers, the business colour laser beam printer, exceptional colour output, fast speed paper handling, and digital document management. Canon, the new Office Colour IRC 3200, offering 32 page per minute full colour in A3 and A4. Copying, printing, faxing and scanning, stapled into booklets, double-sided, folded. Visit our showrooms in Orange, Bathurst and Dubbo. You can do on a Canon today.
Attention camera owners, get a second set of prints free with every film processed every Wednesday all year. A second set of free prints every Wednesday, every week. Free prints all year round. Free second prints every Wednesday only at Eastmont Camera House.
Add value to your property today with Panel Span. It's roll formed to size, reducing the need for ugly joins and with a weather-resistant exterior finish. Panel Span. Call today to discover the low-maintenance way to increase the value of your property.
Tina Arena, the greatest hits. 18 hit singles from one of Australia's biggest female artists. In a limited 2 CD set with 9 bonus tracks. Don't miss Tina's first national tour in over
Every year, 2 billion cans are recycled in Australia, but not all aluminium cans are being recycled. Last year, 900 million were thrown away. That's $15 million worth wasted. So if you're out and about enjoying a nice cold can, here's your chance to be a world champion. Don't litter your cans. Take them home and recycle them. It'll mean cleaner beaches and a cleaner environment.
South Dubbo is off to the perfect start in its Whitney Cup defence. Despite being pushed by Sims, the Premiers scored an 18-run win, Jared Simpson starring with the bat.
Reputations counted for little when defending Premiers Souths took on last season's wooden spooners, Sims. Chasing 205, Souths resumed at 3 for 67. Jared Simpson took control and belted his way to 61 before being bowled by Scott Barrett. Shane Skinner also batted superbly for his 59, while Andrew Grant chipped in with 28 to give the Hornets first innings points. Little contribution from the South's tail, their innings ending on 223. Sims then padded up for a second dig and made 116 for the loss of 5 wickets at stumps. Any hopes Rugby had of an upset victory against Newtown were soon hit to the boundary. Needing only 70 runs for victory with 8 wickets in hand, slowing down wasn't part of Newtown's plans. Greg Rummans, Michael Kempston and an aggressive Aaron Etzel demolished the Rugby attack to the tune of 248 for the loss of only 5 wickets. Warren Saunders the pick of the bowlers with 3 for 60. And finally to number 3 oval, where the Ben Day and Brad Cox show took centre stage. Chasing 247, the pair obliterated Macquarie's bowlers in a 277-run stand to give RSL Colts an easy win. Day's innings of 128 included 15 fours and 2 sixes, while Cox hit 19 boundaries and also sent 2 over the fence in his 147. Matt Ryan also getting in on the act with an impressive 81. The onslaught finally ending on 418 at a runner ball. Macquarie's bowling figures reflecting the punishment, with only Al Pelosi picking up 2 wickets.
Reigning Central West baseball champions, the Warriors, are finally on the board in the Summer Shield. The Premiers had little trouble accounting for their inexperienced opponents, the Bandits, by 14 runs.
Batting for the first time this season, the Bandits went up 1-0 early, but the lead didn't last long. Bandits pitcher Matthew Tree felt the pressure as the Warriors made the most of some wayward pitching. The Bandits picked up another run at the top of the second through Matthew Woodward, but were struggling to get bat on ball. The turning point in the match came in the third innings, as the Warriors went on a scoring spree, crossing home plate 7 times. With the mercy rule looking more and more likely, the Bandits managed to keep the match alive, but trailed 14-5 in the 5th, and the signs looked ominous. The Warriors pushed the lead out to 14 with some solid batting and risky base running. The match was called off in the 6th, with the Warriors ahead 19-5, giving the defending Premiers their first win of the competition.
Bit of trouble at the start of the season. Most of our players were away and that. Hopefully we'll come through to come in the top 3.
Meantime, in the 2 other matches, Orange Raiders 1 easily defeated the Wildcats 19-0, while the Raiders 2 accounted for the Dodgers by 24.
Racing was in Orange today with the $6,000 West Oil Maiden Handicap, the first of an 8-race program. Congratulate started as the on-course favourite, and he proved why. Here are the closing stages.
Fredericia, here comes Congratulate with a big run. Fredericia tackled by Congratulate, and Fredericia, Congratulate, great finish.
The Darryl Davis trained Congratulate, getting home by a short half head over Fredericia, with Sky 1 third. In the second, a field of 10 lined up for the Whiteley Handicap over 1,000 metres.
Solid laughter going for a rails run, but Tarring Success getting the better of Frozen Valor, and Tarring Success beat Frozen Valor.
Towering Success lived up to his name, streaking ahead of Frozen Valor and Vacris. The Orange Runners Club has scored a winning double at the annual Forbes Fun Run. Rod Draper raced to victory in the men's event, while Amber Rich backed it up in the women's.
Cool conditions greeted competitors for the start of Forbes' annual charity fun run. A strong field raising a sweat for the Lockhaven School. The newly opened walking track around Lake Forbes adding to the scenic setting.
The course is a really fast course, pretty flat, and as I said, sort of pretty scenic. So yeah, it's little man-made bridges that you get to run over and things like that around a river. So yeah, it's one of the better runs I've been in. 55 runners lined up for the 7-kilometre slog. Age no barrier as runners from across the region battled for prime position. Orange's Rod Draper pulled away from the pack to hit the front at the halfway point. The 29-year-old holding on for the win, completing the course in 21 minutes and 41 seconds and making it back-to-back victories. Halfway through, I was just thinking about the time. I thought about the time that I did last year. I was hoping to sort of get a gauge on how I'm going at the moment to that, and I managed to, I think I beat it by about 30 seconds, so yeah, I was pretty happy with that.
The Orange Runners Club made it a clean sweep, with Amber Rich the first female home. The 17-year-old also winning for the second year in a row.
I felt pretty good. It was good running conditions. It wasn't too hot. So yeah, it was good.
Pablo Fagiano, Win News.
Fun and run, some would argue those words being side by side.
We saw the last two finish last. All the weather details after the break, then some classic Fords shine in Dubbo.
Low on energy? It could be your diet. 4 out of 5 Australians don't eat enough vegetables. Try V8 vegetable juice. Just 1 glass of this refreshingly tasty juice equals 3 serves of vegetables, over half your daily vegetable requirements. Ideal if you're short on time. Keep a pack in the fridge for a nutritious daily drink. Made from a blend of garden vegetables and 100% natural, V8 is an easy way to improve your diet and your vitality every day. Brand power, helping you buy better.
Mate, my zoo depends on all these Toyotas, so I need the quality, reliability and value of Toyota genuine parts and service. You've just got to keep the feeling.
Add value to your property today with Panel Span. It's roll formed to size, reducing the need for ugly joins and with a weather-resistant exterior finish. Panel Span. Call today to discover the low-maintenance way to increase the value of your property.
Torek Salek and Fox Sports presents The Return, featuring Johnny Hawford versus Chris Johnson, the current world WKBF champion. Also featuring Dubbo's Ashley Winchester White. Saturday the 30th of October, Dubbo's Civic Centre.
Give your feet the best time they've ever had with the new Spring-Summer range from Homiped. We've designed our shoes to include those little extras that add comfort and support. Reinforced arch support systems, elastic inserts, easy adjustments and massage footbeds. And for extra comfort, try the Specialist range, worn with or without our own free mild orthotic. Comfort footwear ready for any occasion. See the extensive range of Homiped shoes at these leading pharmacies.
Thanks to Bernardo's, Joe could soon be stripping your car. When his dad's violence got too much, 12-year-old Joe ran away from home. But he had nowhere to go and no one who cared. Stealing cars was just one of the things Joe did to survive. Now, with Bernardo's help, Joe is still pursuing his passion for cars, but as a fully qualified mechanic. Bernardo's, even a small donation can go a long way, perhaps as far as a lifetime.
It's been a grey old day with wet, cold and windy weather right across the region. To the satellite photo, there is a reasonable amount of cloud across parts of the state associated with a low pressure system lying along the mid-north coast. Tomorrow the low will move slowly south, producing scattered showers down the coast, a warm to very warm day to the west. On Thursday, the low will begin to move slowly away. Showers and isolated thunderstorms should continue about the coast and adjacent ranges. There is the chance of isolated showers on the western ranges and slopes, but it should be dry further west. There has been significant rainfall on the mid-north coast today and locally some good falls across the central tablelands. Last night, Coonabarabran down to 9 degrees, today a top of 19. The forecast for the northwest slopes and plains, scattered showers, the chance of isolated thunderstorms, a warm Wednesday with moderate southeasterly winds. Further ahead it should be dry, 11 degrees overnight, tomorrow a top of 21. On the Central West Slopes and Plains today, Condobolin got to 19, 24 the district's best at Coonamble, 20 in Dubbo, 17 in Donegal, 18 in Forbes, 21 in Gilgandra, 23 in Nyngan, Parks and Wellington slightly cooler. The forecast, scattered showers easing to isolated showers in the west, a warm day with moderate southeasterly winds. Further afield, dry and hot conditions. For the central tablelands, 13 degrees at Bathurst, 17 degrees in Cowra and Mudgee, just 9 in Lithgow, only 8 in Oberon, orange 6 to 12 degrees. The forecast, scattered showers tending to rain in the east, a cool day with moderate to fresh easterly winds. The outlook is for fine and warm conditions until Thursday. Orange up to 14, 18 in Mudgee, 16 degrees for both Bathurst and Goulburn. Onto the dams, and Burrendong still a tick over 17% capacity, only 226 megalitres out the gate today. Wyangla just over 12% capacity and a release of exactly 150 megalitres. A treat for fans of vehicles sporting the blue oval, with the Arana Ford Elite Car Club holding a display featuring classics from the 1930s right through to a 2004 Falcon. The club is not just about the cars, it's also keen to drive home the safety message and is planning a special event with local police.
You know, just showing young people and older people about speeding, braking, safety belts, tell them what it's all about and what could happen if you don't have safety belts on or if you speed.
And that is the news from across the region for this Tuesday night. News headlines can be found on our website, winnet.com.au. I'm Geoff Phillips from the Win News team. Good night.
This has been a Win News presentation from Australia's largest regional television network.